Welcome to part 4 of your 2-point perspective house. We're actually going to add like a patio over here and walkways first, and then we'll add details into the windows because you have a couple options on what you can do. Okay, so if I want a driveway to make it look like it's sticking out of this side of the house where this is going to end up being the garage, then I'm going to use these corners to line up with my opposite vanishing point. So these little corners I'm going to use to line up with, and I'm going to go to my left vanishing point. And so this line that I just drew does go all the way to the left vanishing point. Okay, then I'm going to line up this part with the left vanishing point. Okay, so now I have my driveway going off the page, and later we'll decide do we want to cut it off and make a road. Like, you guys will have some decisions later. Okay, so now I'm going to walkway for my front door. So same thing. I'm going to use this corner and this corner. And you don't have to draw the little dots. I'm just showing you what corners I'm lining it up with. Use the edges of however wide you made your door. So those lines do line up with the left vanishing point because it's parallel to the side of the house, and so the side of the house uses the left vanishing point, so therefore the walkways would use the same. I'm just going to darken slightly so you can see a little bit better. You don't have to because you're going to design them how you want. Okay, so we're going to give them a little depth or dimension as well, and I'm just going to do a little sliver of a side, so it looks like a slab of concrete. And so I'm going to make it slightly wider here than it is here because this part looks like it's closer to us. I'm still going to line up with my left vanishing point, so I'm going to make a little sliver like a pad. So it looks like the side and then the top. All right, same thing over here. And we'll shade these later to make it look more three-dimensional. If you want, you can draw like the little edge if you want to. Okay. So now you have a decision, like you can make a really big area, like maybe you're gonna put like chairs and you're gonna put other stuff out here. I'm just gonna make like kind of a small like patio area. So I want it to be the width of the house over here, like a whole seating area outside. And I'm gonna kind of use like where my posts are as a guideline. So I'm going to line up with my right vanishing point. I'm going to kind of come down a little bit lower than this post, or you could have it even with the post, or you could have it inside the post if you want the post on the outside. I want mine to kind of be a little bit bigger. I'm actually going to connect it to my walkway by the door. Okay, so that line does line up with the right vanishing point. Now I'm going to use this corner of the house to line up with the right vanishing point. So this line and this line both line up with the right vanishing point because this patio is parallel to this side in reality. So it uses the same vanishing point. Okay, so now I'm going to cut it off. Maybe like, I mean, you can cut it off wherever you want because you're going to personalize. Personalize. I'm going to make it just past the posts. Eraser, erase extra lines of convergence I don't need. I'm actually going to connect these. You don't have to. Yours can be separate. Yours can start from that corner if you want it to. Okay, so I'm going to draw a little baby corner vertical and a little corner here, like tiny little corners, so I can make the thickness of the slab of concrete or whatever you're going to turn it into later on. So it does line up with the right vanishing point. Okay, in that little corner with the left vanishing point. And I'm going to cut it off vertically, so it's a tiny little corner. Okay, so that makes it look a little bit more three-dimensional. So now we have a patio, and we have your walkways and a driveway. Okay, so now we need to design your doors and your garage, etc. So I'm just going to do the lines on the garage. I'm going to use my ruler for some markings, like the side that has like lots of little numbers on it. I'm going to line it up, and I'm going to do every like half inch of that, or half millimeter, I guess. So or you can eyeball it. You're going to give yourself some markings that are evenly spaced. So anything you put onto the garage or onto the windows or onto the doors, whatever vanishing point the window, the garage, the doors use, whatever you put on it uses the same vanishing point. So the garage used the right vanishing point. It was to the right of this corner. So therefore anything I put onto the garage is going to be the same. Later we'll do some shading. Okay, so we have lines for a garage. My door is a double door, and I do have like the one side versus the other side, but I'm going to do a window at the top of it, or maybe actually I might do windows in the whole door. We'll see. Maybe it's a glass door, fancy door. So I'm actually going to do the top, lining up with my right vanishing point, because it's to the right of this corner. I'm going to do the bottoms of this window inside the door. And now I'm just going to do all my vertical sides. So I want to make sure that on the right hand side of the door it's a little bit smaller than the left. And then later we'll shade it to like make it look like glass. If you want to copy me, that's fine, or you can design your own door. But the whole point is anything you put on there should line up with the same vanishing point that the door or window does. Okay, we'll design handles later on. Okay, so for your windows, X marks the spot, and you need at least one window pane of glass. So I'm going to actually demonstrate on here first. So X marks the spot. Let me get another color. So I'm going corner to corner. So from this corner to this corner. And then corner to corner. So that tells me where my halfway point is vertically or horizontally. So if I only want 2 panes of glass, then in Frank Lloyd Wright's time, you had like the bottom half that you pull up, like pull up the bottom half of the window. So anything horizontal is going to line up with the same vanishing point as the window. So this window lines up with the left vanishing point. So therefore, I'm going to draw the window division, sorry, double line there, to make it look like I have glass up here and glass down there. If you want another division, I still have that X there. So if I want a vertical division, it tells me where the midpoint is vertically. So now I have 4 panes of glass. Glass, 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 glass. So let's say I wanted more than 4 panes of glass. Well then, I'm gonna get another color. You can continue to divide, but you have to divide each section. So if I wanted to, and remember this was very lightly, corner to corner, then it would tell me the horizontals are gonna be the same, but it would tell me where my next vertical division is. And then, I mean, always use your ruler, but corner to corner, and it would tell me where my next one is. And then I can divide this bottom half into 4, and it would tell me where I only do one side because it would tell me where my division is that way. So if you want many panes of glass, that's fine. I would just say if you're gonna highly decorate one window, you should repeat it. So however I decide I want these 2 windows to be, they should be the same. The 2 sides of the door are the same. We might change, some of those on that side, but let's say I'm like, oh, I highly designed this one window. Okay, that looks weird. So make sure you repeat like a highly designed window. So you need at least 2 panes of glass, and there is a list in your Google Doc, number 12, for what's required. So you need at least 2 panes of glass. So you could decide I'm just gonna draw the X and I'm gonna do a horizontal division, or maybe you just want a vertical division. So if we're not in Frank Lloyd Wright's time, the more common panes of glass are vertically divided, where you can just slide 1/2 of your window over. So you would still use X marks the spot to find the middle, and then you would just do 2 panes of glass that way. So you can have horizontal or vertical, and you can keep dividing further and further with X's to find the midpoints. Okay, so on my windows and doors, I think I'm gonna do just 4. So I have less erasing. I'm still gonna measure corner to corner. So I'm going corner to corner in this window. I'm just gonna lightly make the X in the middle so I have less to erase. But I am lining up corner to corner. Okay, so I go through and I do all the X's. And some people even turn the X's into part of their window design. That's fine. You're gonna kind of design it how you wish. Okay, that's the door. I'll leave that alone. Okay, so over here, ooh, I have a decision to make. What kind of window? Okay, I'm gonna do these windows. X marks the spot. So then I can quickly go through and do all my panes of glass. And I wouldn't shade anything in yet. You're just gonna put them on there. And that's gonna end up being a door. So actually, I do want windows on those doors. All right, I'll design them for the next one. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna do a vertical and a horizontal. So I'm gonna do vertical first. And I'm gonna use a double line to make it look like it has a width or a thickness. And I'm gonna do vertical on this one. Because these windows line up when I drew them, the horizontals should line up with each other. So over here, the same thing. The horizontals should line up with each other because you lined them up when you drew them. So you can mass produce. Okay. So then I would erase my X's. I'm gonna fill those in later. So don't color anything in yet. I was just showing you with the Sharpie so it'd be easy to see. Okay, so I'm gonna go through and do 4 panes of glass on each window. If you just want a vertical division, just 2 panes, that's fine. If you just want a horizontal division, just 2 panes, that's fine. You need at least 2 panes of glass per window. So you can work while I'm working. So just remember when you're doing horizontals, they line up with whatever vanishing point your windows and doors line up with. Okay, so I'm going to go through and erase all my X's. I don't need them anymore. Okay. For these two doors, you're going to design how you want. I'm going to have it be similar, but I'm going to make a smaller window in both of them, like just a top window. So bottom lines up with the left vanishing point, top lines up with the left vanishing point. So I'm adding a window at the top of each of these doors. So bottom and top lines up with the same vanishing point that the window and door does, and that lines up with the left vanishing point. So whatever you add, you can add whatever you want. I would just kind of stay, you know, pretty consistent, and whatever you add in one area, you want to repeat it in another. Because with architecture, there's lots of repetition. We'll add doorknobs later on. Okay, so you need window panes, you need something to kind of tell us like which ones are your doors. You're going to design them a little bit further later on. And moving into the next phase, there's 2 parts to 5. So one is what's required, and one is some extra stuff that you can watch to choose from. You have now finished part 4 of your 2-point perspective house.